Let's go over Star Wars Episode 9 when it comes to the original director, Colin Trevorrow. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, a couple of days ago, we went over his first response after many months ago when he was fired by Lucasfilm as director of Episode 9, the final film in the sequel trilogy, before both J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio stepped on board to rewrite the whole entire script and get ready for the production this July. Now, the response that we went over about Colin Trevorrow not too long ago, that was the first time he ever responded since his firing, months and months ago. I believe it was the summer of 2017. I think it was in July, if I'm not mistaken. It was quite a long time ago, almost a year now at this point. Now, Colin Trevorrow has been coming out a whole lot more, and he actually responded again after being fired by Lucasfilm as director of Episode 9. Now, looking at one of Colin Trevorrow's statements here, he had to say this about the whole entire concept of franchises, including Star Wars, etc., and this is what he had to say. Finding the balance between those two things is the challenge that all these franchises face, Trevorrow says. It's really hard to make new versions of the things we love. He even goes over how Star Wars used to be a gift from a galaxy far, far away. So he did in fact point out here that it's really hard to make new versions of the things we love. Now, to me, I think that there is a difficulty to a degree, but if you have the correct vision and the right guidance, I really do think that you can really recapture exactly what Star Wars is and what Star Wars really means. Now, as I have gone over before, Colin Trevorrow, we do know that he was let go from Lucasfilm because he had all these different ideas of some of the characters in the movies. He even had some creative differences with, the way things were going with Star Wars as a whole with this new trilogy. We even heard weeks ago, actually, like a month or two ago at this point, that he actually wanted Luke Skywalker to live it out and to have a Supreme Leader Snoke backstory at some point. And that was a little creative, different situation there between Lucasfilm and himself and Rian Johnson, etc. It was a real involved thing. Not only that, there was a time where he was even questioning his own script, and he had to go over and do some revisions in there. And that's what led Jack Thorne to come on board, and he too was also let go before both JJ and Chris Terrio stepped on board just after he was fired. Now, one thing that I really do want to go over is how Colin Trevorrow was going to do something very special between both Luke and Leia. Now, this was before Carrie Fisher passed away, but even after the passing of Carrie, he was still going to do something very special for Luke Skywalker. And honestly, this really does raise a big question as to what that exactly was going to be. Now, he refuses to give out any details about that, of the ideas that he had for Star Wars Episode 9. I think it really comes from the fact that he's not allowed to. I think he would if he could, but I'm sure that eventually we will find out more and more about that in the future to come. And also, in his original script that Daisy Ridley actually read, and Colin Trevorrow was actually telling her about this, of what happens to her character, Daisy Ridley was actually crying over it all, of what happens to Rey in his script. Now, this was, of course, well before J.J. Abrams stepped on board, and this really does leave one to wonder exactly what happened to Rey in Colin Trevorrow's script. Could she have died? Could something else have happened? We have no idea. Will that part actually transfer over to J.J. Abrams' script? How much of Colin's ideas will actually transfer over into J.J. Abrams' vision and his story? That's another question open on the table for discussion, and I think that we're going to also find that out in the future after Episode 9 releases, with a lot of interviews and stuff like that, etc. Now, the other thing is that with Rian Johnson, we have a similar thing here. As Colin stated, in that interview, that, of course, it's really hard to make new versions of the things we love. Now, we do know that Rian Johnson, with his new trilogy, he's trying to really recapture the magic of the original trilogy with Luke Skywalker, back with A New Hope in '77. When it first came out, he's really trying to catch lightning in a bottle again, and to me that seems like a real difficult task to me, and I'm not quite sure if Rian will be able to pull that off. So that's one thing that Colin pointed out there, is that it's really hard to make things that we love. That, you know, it's already an established franchise, everybody knows about this, and to capture lightning in a bottle again, it's a hard task, even as Mark Hamill stated in numerous interviews. You know, capturing lightning in a bottle is no easy task, and looking at The Last Jedi is a great example there. Based on a lot of the decisions based, you know, from Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy, etc., all those different things cause a lot of backlash and negativity. And where does this bring us into the future is another question for sure. We do know that now Disney is listening to the fans, even all the more so after the Solo: A Star Wars Story box office results. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what the future really lies with the Star Wars franchise. But like I said, guys, I think that Colin had a great vision of what he was doing, and some people would very well argue that maybe it was the right choice to get him fired because of the Jurassic World situation and, you know, his other movie, The Book of Henry, I believe it was, and how those two movies performed and the feedback that it got. Now, the thing is, I've seen a lot of directors out there, a lot of writers out there that make movies that really didn't do too well at all. And then out of the blue, they'll have a movie that really does very, very well. And it just, you know, gravitates to a lot of people, right? It's a real magnetic film. I've seen examples of that left and right, and I can't be too quick to judge that Colin Trevorrow's story for Episode 9 would have been absolutely terrible. So it's really hard for me to say if it was the right or the wrong choice to let go of Colin before bringing J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio on board. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.